Start of episode 2 right here.
Smart Boys.
The Smart Boys. Official introduction. The name of myself, this person who has this voice. If you hear these baritones, these saturations, whatever you audiophiles like to call it, this is Anders G. That's all I'm going to go by for right now. If you want to call me something else, it would probably be Fish Boy.
Fish Boy.
Fish Boy.
Okay.
I swim like a fish.
He's very scaly. He's very scaly.
When people touch me, they say I'm often slimy. I don't know if that's an insult to my personal hygiene or the fact that I like to be in swamps.
They say, "Gee, you're awfully slimy," but they don't ever seem to dislike.
See,
it.
the thing is, they say that, but they never touch me. So I'm just like across the room, and the priest in the church, he's just like, "Very slimy you look," and I'm like, "What? You can't say that."
You're like the opposite of a snake, because snakes look slimy, but they're really not. You don't look very slimy.
They
but
also
you really are.
On contact, they feel slimy, but you know they're not. But you just want to think they are. You keep touching them. You're like, "Where's the slime?"
Can I get a handful of that snake? Let me get a handful of that snake. Let me introduce myself. It's your boy Mike. With this this crunchy voice, as I've been told it sounds. Very crunchy.
My ears are cracking right now. In fact, many people have said they couldn't listen to Mike because their eardrums just get disrupted.
Disrupted. 2017!
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about 2017. Let's talk about what we're excited for.
Okay. I'm excited that it's 2017!
Oh my.
Let's see. I'm excited. Well, I should be excited about never hearing about the fucking goddamn election anymore. But I don't know if that's going to come.
No.
That's all you're going to hear about.
That's all you're going to hear about.
I was excited about that, but now I'm starting to second guess that.
Everyone's just going to be bitching all the time, constantly.
It's just the state of living we're at now. I feel like in the past, elections ended, and we're just like, oh, John McCain? Who was that? Who was the 2004 loser? Kerry? Yeah. What happened to him? John Kerry?
He's windsurfing now, I think.
He's windsurfing?
He was, at least. He can't catch a football, save his life.
Did he play football?
No, but there's that picture of him just sucking terribly at catching a football.
I forgot about that. But, 2017, the year that we will keep hearing about the election.
You know what I'm looking for about 2017?
Yes.
2018.
Ooh, I love those solid 18s.
Yes. Because that's when it's legal. Not that that's ever stopped me before.
The 2000s will be officially legal? Oh, shit. If you think about it, those kids born on Y2K, they could be legal.
Y2K?
You don't call it Y2K?
I don't.
You don't pronounce your K's as keys?
I call them Keds.
Keds?
Like
Y2Ked?
Y2Ked?
I think that works better.
But here we are recording our first 2017 Smart Boys podcast. And I was just discussing with Anders earlier about my fantastic day and my trip to the dentist. So, my tooth has been hurting me, and I go to the dentist to say, hey, my tooth hurts, and they take x-rays of my mouth, and the first thing that the lady who did it said was, she goes, oh, you got a virgin mouth. And I was taken aback, and I was like, virgin mouth? And she was like, yeah, it says here you've never had any cavities, you've never had any fillings, no crowns. And I was like, yeah, I also had no braces. She's like, yeah, we call that a virgin mouth. And I was like, I think you should probably rephrase that.
I mean, they're not wrong.
They are, though.
I just want to clarify, in the sense of virginity, is your mouth a virgin mouth? Not in the sense of oral surgery, anything like that?
I have had my wisdom teeth taken out. Actually, viewers and listeners, let me tell you something. Normal people have wisdom teeth, right? It happens. Most people have either 2 or they got 4. Now, 4 is usually the most you ever hear about. This gentleman sitting next to me...
Oh my god, you're going to bring this up.
This gentleman sitting next to me, do you know how many wisdom teeth he had? Fucking 6.
Okay, but...
6.
I'm breaking records here.
Fucking 6.
If you gotta be number one at something, you gotta be number one. I can live my entire life thinking that I was number one at something, and that was having the most wisdom teeth out of... Hey, that's what my surgeon said. He's like, I've seen 5. He said that before. He's like, 6 is the most I've seen, and he said it was a very risky pull, because Could have damaged my brain. Could have been, he could have +1 me on the chromosome side.
Oh, shit.
So.
I'm just looking up most wisdom teeth ever.
There's probably going to be some ridiculous number. I'm just going to say in
It's
current
a picture
year.
Of you. Oh my god, it's a picture of you.
God, why did they take that picture?
Fucking 6 wisdom teeth.
That's when I didn't have the wisdom teeth. That picture is inaccurate.
Okay.
Okay, now you're making me regret the whole removal of the teeth thing because I had 6, big number.
You don't have them anymore though.
I got rid of them.
So now you're nothing.
All I have of evidence of them is just like 2 teeth.
You have the same amount as me now, which is no.
I'm just on like the same human level as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I hate feeling equal to everybody else because it doesn't make me special.
It doesn't.
It's like what made me unique no longer makes me unique, and it's just like, why am I special? Why do I go on?
Because you're a smart boy.
Smart boy.
Smart boys.
Hey, 2017?
2017 is the
current
year of the Smart Boys.
Revengeance. Because we technically started in 2016. And let me just say right now, a lot of things happened in 2016. I actually kind of want to go over the things, but I want to say, out of all the things that happened in 2016, people are going to remember one thing from that year.
Can I tell you what it is?
Yes.
It was the first broadcasting of the Smart Boys podcast.
Absolutely.
They look back and they're going to say, Prince who? They're going to look back and they're going to say, who? David Bowie? Who's that?
David, fuck you.
Yeah, it's...
George Michael, 2 first names, I don't give a shit.
I certainly don't. But they're going to say, you know what I remember about 2016? Is I first heard the Smart Boys, and it literally and physically changed my life. And we're going to keep on continuing changing your life.
See, I wanted to start the podcast in 2017. I was like, fresh new year, fresh new podcast. But I was bolder than that. I said, 2016's got to go out with a bang. And we are the bang.
We're the bang for your buck.
No buck at all. As far as I know, the show's free.
The buck stops here, in fact.
In fact, save your bucks and spend them elsewhere, because you're going to be saving a lot of money with this podcast.
Because it's free. You don't have to pay for it. We don't charge you.
We
don't charge you.
I don't want to say anything permanent. I don't want our potential fans in 2 years saying, "Oh, I got to pay for the podcast now." Hey, maybe we'll sell out. Maybe we'll be sellouts.
I wouldn't mind. Fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Who isn't a sellout these days?
Okay, the only people who aren't sellouts these days, and you know who they are?
Bums.
The losers.
The losers.
The bums and the losers of the year.
The jabronis.
Just never sell out. And they just, you're just sitting there like, man, I wish I sold out. It's like, could have.
Yeah, could have, would have. Guess what?
Those Vietnam veterans, they could have sold out to the war. But they're like, man, it's too much.
So let's do a 2016 in review. What word do we even start?
I mean, the one thing everybody is talking about, the amount of people we lost in 2016. Specifically, one woman in particular, and you know who I'm talking about, that potential president, she just blew it all over. She just...
Hillary Clinton? You blew it.
And let me just say right now, out of all the tragic deaths, her campaign, biggest death.
Oh my god, she went... Well, it's her fault, really.
It's a Democrat. Well, it's her and everybody who supported her's fault because they underestimated something else. I'm just gonna say right now, I don't pick sides in the whole matter. In fact, I was so close to not voting that I was just like, I don't sleep in today. But you know what? I went out. I gave my 2 cents. I'm not gonna let those people online saying that, oh, you don't vote, you're voting for who I don't like. You know what? I don't like it.
The only reason I voted is I wanted one of those little stickers. It says I voted just so I can show it off.
I skipped one of those. I walked right out.
That's the only reason to do it.
The old lady was handing it to me. I'm like, you know what?
Save your sticker, bitch.
Save the fucking sticker, you dumb cunt.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree. I'm not posting that on Instagram. I'm not going to Snapchat that shit. I'm not about that. I'm not going to tell people that I supported the system. Whatever. Cis with a C. C-I.
The system like the cisgender. Oh my god.
Just like our fucking president. Both of them. In fact, all of them. Name me one. Name me one who doesn't abide by that code of the
patriarchal
serpents. Those snakes in the grass sissing around.
We need a Ricky Tikki Tavi. We need a Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Goddamn Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Because you know what? He fucked with them snakes.
Those snakes got You know that flag, don't tread on me? He treaded all over the snakes.
He got tread juice all over their faces.
Tread juice?
Tread juice, the aftermath.
The aftermath of a good treading.
So let's talk about some shows from 2016 that everyone seems to fucking love.
I know of one. Okay.
I could name you 2 shows that everyone won't shut the fuck up about.
I know. I've watched those 2.
Westworld,
Mm-hmm.
which I watched.
Now, Westworld, I just want to say really quick, really good show, but I'm not trying to overrate it. A lot of people are talking about it. It is legitimately a really good show.
It's a great show. I need to go back and rewatch it, but everyone needs to just see their teas about it, calm their tits.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't fucking amazing. It was great, but it wasn't as good as people were losing their shit over about. Second show that everyone's losing their shit over about is Stranger Things.
Goddamn.
Which I watched as well several times, and like I said, it's great, but I wouldn't say it's as fucking magnificent as people claim it to be.
The thing I get, there's so many references pulled from that show that was, like, honestly, just kind of unnecessary. Like, I'll go on fucking, like, Facebook, you know how they do that sponsored shit with, like, those dumb graphic tees? Every single one I've been seeing for the past 6 months is all Stranger Things.
I will say that we sell the Stranger Things vinyl, I guess soundtrack, at work.
Yeah.
And it's got the fucking audacity to have this sticker on it that says, special VHS tape colored vinyl. Which is exactly the same fucking color that a regular... It's fucking black.
That sounds like a ripoff because they sell a red one online.
Yeah, they have a bunch of different ones, so I don't know if that whole VHS thing is like a joke.
This is what's confusing about that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, in the last year I've been starting to get into actually I have a fucking stack of them over there, those colored vinyls. And I'm a casual collector, just the stuff I really like I have the fucking Gremlins soundtrack and I got the Last of Us soundtrack. It's things I like. And I've been seeing those online just because, like, now that I, like, post, like, not even post, I click on that shit all the time. Now all the ads that are tailored to me on Facebook, all that fucking, like, NSA bullshit they're doing now.
Yeah, well,
all the ones I've been seeing for the Stranger Things one, I've seen from 4 different websites, and they all claim to have the official one, and they have, like, a red one, and they have, like, a special, like,
there's a smoky...
What's the fucking monster? They have, like, one design
the Demigorgon?
Like the Demigorgon. There's, like, one design like that. And all these websites have these different limited edition, like, quotes on limited edition ones, and it's just, like, everywhere, and I don't know which one's legit or not.
I'm assuming they're kind of like Pops, where certain retailers get, I don't know, certain versions, but I was like, come on, guys. It was like VHS colored, yeah, it's fucking black, like every other goddamn
Is the label
normal.
like a VHS, like, generic Sony VCR recordable?
It was a little baby sticker. Little baby sticker. But they also had another one that it said it was a special smoky version. Smoky's, I don't know. I guess it's
like the smoke
gray.
in the Upside Down.
Yeah, fucking Upside Down.
Yeah.
Let's go to the in-between. Let's go to the other side.
What's that a reference to? What's that in-between? I feel like...
The in-between.
I know the Upside Down.
There's a TV show. There's a great TV show, if you haven't checked it out, is The In-Betweeners.
That's a good show.
Not the fucking American version, which sucked.
There's
terribly.
an American version?
Oh, yeah. It lasted for like 3 episodes on MTV a couple years ago.
Okay, that's why I never heard of it. I've seen the British one plenty of times.
The British one,
I've seen the movie as well.
There's 2 movies, in fact.
I have not seen the second.
The second one is okay.
Okay. Well, good to know.
But you were speaking of colored vinyls. Let me tell you, I too collect vinyls, and the coolest colored vinyl I ever seen was by this Russian slam metal band.
Of course it was.
Called Abominable Putridity, and the album is...
Let me just interrupt here. Mike, what does it say on your shirt right now?
It simply says Abominable Putridity. If you can read the slam metal logos, which, in my opinion, and this is fact, that the more illegible a band's logo is, the better the band's going to be.
Yes.
Because if you can read the name of a fucking band, like, what? Like, who cares?
I will never slam against, like, your, like, of the... What do you even call it? Like, there's so many different metals, and you've told me probably 5 different ones I never knew existed.
Well, Abominable Putridity is a slam metal band, which is an offshoot of death metal. It's basically, if you were to combine groove metal with death metal and replace breakdowns, which is more of a metalcore and deathcore type of instrument, like piece of music, it's replaced with slams, which are basically, they're syncopated like breakdowns, but as opposed to just chugging one note for the most part, which what breakdowns usually are, it's a rhythmic, melodic breakdown. So it really gets you going. Dying Fetus, by the way, is the... Shut the fuck up.
I'm not laughing at you.
Dying
I
Fetus.
love that you have all this knowledge because this is so niche, and so nobody knows this shit.
I know.
This is very underground shit, and you're educating the people right now.
People need to know. Okay, so Dying Fetus, which is a band based out of, well, I guess not if they're based out of there, but from Baltimore. They were sort of the godfathers of slam metal, and basically their entire, for the most part, their songs are just a slam after slam after slam after slam. And they also have some of the best metal intros ever. On their song From Womb to Waist, the first thing that we hear is a woman speaking. There's no music behind her, and she goes, "It's not my fault I'm pregnant and I love drugs. Who cares? Fuck the baby, let it die." And then boom, the song kicks in.
Makes sense for the band.
Right? Dying Fetus.
Yeah.
So yeah, slam metal is where it's at. It's the offshoot of death metal, which is also where it's at. Metalcore can suck it. Deathcore has got its
what's popular metalcore bands, just for example?
Popular metalcore bands would be like Attack Attack. Carnifex is a bit metalcore. Well, they're really more deathcore. Bands like the Black Dahlia Murder, I would say. Belie My Burial is metalcore. Honestly, I can't name that many, but if I hear it, I'd be like, that's fucking metalcore.
Okay.
I guess maybe shit like Atreyu's metalcore.
Atreyu.
Shit like Alexis on Fire. These are all just bands from the past that I can come up with. I can name you some great slam metal bands. You're talking about Begging for Incest. You're talking about Dying Fetus, Abominable Putridity, Vulvodynia, who's amazing. They're out of South Africa. You're looking at Begging for Incest. Eat a Helicopter. Dysentery. Inhuman Remains, Heinous Killing, which I don't really know how to categorize them, but they're really good. Then you could get into avant-garde metal, which is Cloacal Kiss and Poppy Seed Grinder.
I want everybody to look these up. This is homework for the week right here.
If you, if
you could just play back that last minute of all these recommendations.
I just love
look
metal.
up a song from each of those bands, and that's your playlist for your work day right there.
If you're going to listen to Abominable Putridity, their big song is Remnants of the Tortured, which is about people being tortured.
The remnants of the people who were tortured.
Also, a band that's kind of uncategorizable, but is in the death metal, tech metal, which is amazing, is Cattle Decapitation. What's funny about Cattle Decapitation is that they are a vegan death metal band.
It's kind of a band with a message.
They have a huge pro-environmentalism message, anti-meat industry message, and if you got a second, if you got some time and you want to see something crazy, look up their video for forced gender reassignment. You cannot find it on YouTube because it is far too graphic. You can find it on the internet, obviously, some other places, but forced gender reassignment's music video is probably the most extreme music video I've ever seen.
Really?
Someone gets a power drill up their butthole.
Okay. This sounds
that old gag.
That sounds exciting.
Let's switch it up a bit though.
Let's switch it up a bit. Now, one thing prominent pretty much in any year, 2016 especially, because there were some controversy with a lot of these, I'd say bigger titles, film, movies.
Are we gonna talk about RO?
RO?
SWRO. Star Wars Rogue One.
Did you see it?
Twice.
Do you like it?
Yes. I
Okay.
fucking loved it.
You fucking loved it? See, I'm on the opposite of the spectrum. I thought it was good for what it is, but I have issues with it. And I'm not really that big of a Star Wars fan. I like the first three and the new one.
The original three.
The original three.
And
I call those the first three because,
yeah.
In our timeline, in our existence, those were the first three. Those are the ones I watched before, anything else.
I see arguments for and against how Force Awakens, whether or not it's the worst Star Wars, or it's the best Star Wars, or it's just a rehash of A New Hope.
It's a solid third or fourth best.
Shit, now you got me thinking about ranking Star Wars.
Okay, let me. I'll do a quick breakdown of how I rank Star Wars, and I'm leaving Rogue One out of this because I wouldn't even know how to rank. I would have put it above the prequels, but I also don't know how to rank it in between the original trilogy but I definitely put Force Awakens above it.
Let me just say one thing, that no matter what your list is, and no matter what my list is, there's going to be somebody who's going to be like, you're a fucking idiot, like, how dare you? So
Why do people get so passionate about Star Wars? It's such a series, it's not like Star Trek where it's so tightly knit, and the background of the development of these films aren't, like, a big deal. Like, Star Trek at the most is, like, the very first one was very experimental, it was like, whatever, fuck it. And then the rest of them were just, like, a hive mind idea, it was like, we're making this. And then here's this, and there it is. And then it's just a straight shoot.
What was the one where they went to Earth in the past and they were like making a missile silo or like on a farm or some shit?
No,
First Contact.
First Contact, yeah, that's the one.
I saw that movie once.
I know the story about that movie. It's the one where Picard and who's Shatner? Captain Kirk. Yeah, Captain Kirk. That's where they meet, but it's like technically in like a simulation/dream thing.
Oh, God.
It's really weird.
Were the Borg
it's really
in that
weird.
one?
Well, apparently in the beginning of the film, Captain Kirk dies and goes to his like afterlife. That's like Earth in the past.
Yeah.
And that's where Picard enters up, and that's where the missile silo is, and it's really fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen that one. I've obviously seen the newer ones, and then I've seen Nemesis in theaters as a kid. I don't remember anything about it except the Borg are fucking cool. And I've seen the one where they save the fucking whales.
That's the Return Home 4. That's 4, because they technically, in terms of the first 4 movies, first one is standalone. Then the second one, Wrath of Khan to Search for Spock, to the Voyage Home. That's like a trilogy. That's like a solid story arc.
What's the one where they fight a giant space vagina? There is one where
that's the first one. That's the first one.
Okay,
that's the first one because that's the one that gets really Kubrick-esque with the fucking 2001 Space Odyssey imagery and shit. That was actually the first one I watched out of all of them, and I watched this when I was probably like 8 or 9, and because my dad had it on VHS, I was like, oh, Star Trek, people know that shit, it's nerdy, whatever, and I checked it out, and I was like, this is fucking weird, and I don't know what to make of this. So I didn't watch the other ones until much later because I thought they were all going to be fucking weird like that. Because I just thought that movie, because I never watched the original series, I watched that, I'm like, this is what Star Trek is, and I'm like, this is fucking weird, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I like skipped the rest for a while.
I'm not a big Star Trek guy, but let's look back to Star Wars.
We're both not big Star Trek guys, we just had like a pretty, I'd say base discussion about it. What does that say about us? Nothing.
Well, I think it says, no, Anders, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're dead wrong. It says that we're smart. We know
what we're talking
a little bit about
regardless
everything.
of whether or not it's a subject we're familiar with.
Anders may know more about classic video games.
Yeah, kind of.
And owning a Ford Explorer.
I just bought one. That's beside the point. That's a personal life thing. You know, we talked about your dentist thing. You opened up that person.
I let you guys into my virgin mouth. I let you come into my virgin mouth, and you know.
On that subject, I got totally distracted because we were too busy talking about the virgin mouth thing. That reminded me of a story of when my brother got his wisdom teeth removed. And the oral surgeon, who, by the way, the only reason we got a recommendation to this guy is growing up, he was a deacon at one of the churches we used to go to. And after the surgery, my brother is absolutely fucked from all the fucking anesthetic and the Novocaine and all this shit. But it's not about what he said, because he was just rambling the whole car ride home about shit he like looked up that morning. Because, like, he was, like, looking up his phone history while this was happening and just, like, showing me shit. And it was all fucked up. That was, like, a minuscule story. It was a funny in the moment thing. It's what the oral surgeon said after he was done. He was, like, saying, oh, yeah, it was, like, pretty easy. He's like, I will say one thing about your brother. He had the biggest teeth for any white man that I've ever operated on. And I was, like, taken back a little bit because... What is that? What is he trying to say with that? The biggest teeth. Oh my god. Biggest teeth for any white man he's ever operated on.
I want to know if he's saying that white men have typically small teeth, or that men of color have rather large teeth.
But he said white man. I don't know if he could say, like, Asian people. Do they have big teeth? You know, African American.
We're asking the real questions here.
We are asking the real questions. Hispanics. Do they have big teeth?
Canadians.
What do they look like?
Canadians,
they're white. What are you talking about? It's like saying German or Swedish.
The
Uganda.
The Gondans.
The Gondans.
The Gungans.
The Gungans. Mongolians. They might have particularly large teeth. They gotta bite through that wall.
That's what Mom always says. She goes, if you ever meet a Mongolian, don't ever put your fingers in his mouth.
Okay, story on that. Because that's what happens with the Mongolians.
Just don't do it.
Don't let them into your walls either. They're really bad about that. Like, if you see a wall, don't say, hey, just climb over that.
Fun fact, Genghis Khan, many people don't know this, was an extremely firm believer in never harming a messenger. And he would go out of his way to decimate, cities. If he would send a convoy to deliver a message and they harmed the messenger, he would make sure that he would totally annihilate that city as opposed to any other thing that he wanted to do to them. I'm not kidding, I've read about this.
No, I'm laughing at the sheer audacity or concept of his moral standing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, who knows, but apparently he would get so upset and furious if somebody would harm one of his messengers because they weren't going to do, they're just delivering a message, that he would then, multiply his whatever he was going to do to them to the 10th degree because they hurt a messenger. That's your Genghis Khan. That's your Genghis Khan.
That's the Smart Boys fact right there.
Fact of the day.
Fact of the day by the Smart Boys. Brought to you by
Mike.
The Smart Boys. Mike.
Smart Boy Mike.
Of the Smart Boys.
Just Smart Boy Mike.
If you ever see that on Reddit, put a quote from Mike and then put a black and white picture of him right there at the bottom. TIL. Today I learned. So I often forget what things mean.
Let's get back to Star Wars, because I really do want to hear your list. Let's do worst Star Wars right off the bat. Worst of the film.
Clone Wars.
Agreed. Clone Wars is the worst.
Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones. Clone Wars is the fucking
the TV show.
series.
Yeah. So Attack of the Clones by far the worst. That was the one where he was. Was he the one where he was riding a big lizard? Obi-Wan. Yeah. Worst
Obi-Wan
one.
rides the big lizard. He rides a big lizard in the third one too, but it's more of him like it's like a continuous action scene. He's chasing forearms. What's his face? Grievous. Yeah. But no, my list is it's really simplistic. It's really, I put Empire, Return of the Jedi. I would say Force Awakens because I enjoy it marginally more than A New Hope, just because it has
New Hope's a little boring.
It has a little subtle nuances. Like New Hope feels like a standalone movie still, even though it's they made sequels after that. You can definitely feel oh, this was just a one-off thing we were making, and that's it. Then I would put New Hope under that. Then it would be what's it? Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Sith?
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. Go fuck yourself.
That's basically my list. However, I would it would go Empire, then probably Force Awakens, just because I fucking love Kylo Ren, and I feel like the pacing of Jedi and New Hope are a little off, especially New Hope. To me, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I watch it, I know because I know what's gonna happen in not only in just that film but the whole trilogy. I don't care. I just get to it. I know it's gonna happen. And then I know a lot of people would disagree, but I don't really like Obi-Wan in that movie. He's kind of a dick.
He is. That's the thing about Star Wars mentors in the original series. They're notorious dicks. Obi-Wan's a dick. Yoda is a fucking asshole because he spends the first hour that he knows Luke just acting like a fucking crazy hermit.
Yeah.
Then he makes him go on those physical tasks of just training, and then he's oh, by the way, none of this matters when you're a Jedi because it's all about the mind and how the Force moves. And then he explains that shit.
But I would actually, if we were to include Rogue One, Rogue One would probably rank.
Your second?
No, I mean it was really good. It did have some issues in terms of, I guess, not really knowing who these characters were. That pilot who was the.
Can I just bring up my biggest issue with this movie? Is anytime I ask people about the movie, they're I loved it, it was great. And then I ask them right after that, I'm can you name me 3 characters? 3 original characters that is only in this movie.
I don't think I could name names other than what's Donnie Yen's character's name? I guess I can't name it.
Yeah.
But then again,
I know the Felicity Jones character's name, and I think I know the robot's name. I think it's like K-19.
KR. Oh my god.
KR-19 something. I don't know. I haven't looked this up since I watched the movie. I went in cold for the movie anyway. I had no previous knowledge of what it was.
That's actually a really good fucking question.
Exactly. I know the Felicity Jones' name is Jyn Erso.
Yeah,
her dad is like Ulrich or something really anime sounding. That was the thing, is like the naming in Star Wars in the originals, it's very basic and not complicated. Like the most you get is like Darth Vader is like, that's a little out there for the time. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But they called him Ben.
They called him Ben, so it's like it's a softer blow. And then all the
Luke is a normal name.
R2D2, easy to remember. C-3PO, Chewbacca, those are iconic. But like in the prequels, there are a lot of characters I really couldn't name. There are some original characters I could name, but even when I watched the movies in the moment, you could get me like 10 minutes after seeing any of the prequels and say, well, who was this guy who wasn't like a main character, but it was in like 3 scenes. I'd be like, I don't know.
I can name, obviously Mace Windu.
Mace Windu, but he stands out.
And Count Dooku. I could do General Grievous. I could do what the fuck's his name?
I know Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn. Who did I say? General Grievous.
The one thing that did help with that is those names were really force-fed through like marketing and merchandise. Yeah. Where this movie, it's like, all it is just, it's Star Wars, and here it is, and you see stormtroopers and shit like that. But it's never like, Jyn, what's her name? Jyn... I just said it.
Jyn Erso. I got a whole list pulled up.
Jyn Erso is going on an adventure, and she's being joined by what's his name? Cassian.
Ooh, his last name is similar to your name. Fucking the bad guy.
Yeah, the white coat. What's
Orson
his name?
Krennic.
Orson Krennic. I could not remember that. There would be a scene where they say his name, and I'm staring at the screen. I'm like, what's this guy's name again? Because I only remember fucking Grand Moff Tarkin because he was from the original, and that's fucking deep lore.
I was going to say the dude who plays Orson Krennic. I'm looking. His name's Ben Mendelsohn. Mm-hmm. He is amazing in The Place Beyond the Pines. If you haven't seen The Place Beyond the Pines,
it's been a long time since I've seen it.
It's a great film. It's 2 movies in one. You get your Brad Coops, and you got your Rygoss. Mm-hmm. Get your Brad Coops. Get your
I will say, what'd you say? Ben Coops? Is it? What was his name? The actor?
Oh, Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn. I was combining his character's name with the actor's name, but he was really good.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, he was. I think he was my favorite part. Okay. Favorite part of Rogue One. Everyone says, spoiler alert, who fucking cares? Darth Vader's scene at the end, where he just wrecks shit on that ship, that rebel ship, best part of the movie. Agreed?
I agree that it's a really good part, but to me, it felt like on the same note, if you ever played the game The Force Unleashed, there's a beginning scene where you play as Darth Vader, and you're just going through the like Chewbacca fucking village planet, and wrecking shit in the same manner, and it feels really like cartoony at times, because it's just like he'll like do a big jump and shit like that. That refrained from that, and it felt more on par with the actual movies, so that's what I liked about it.
Let's see, the other name... Oh, fucking Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, I could remember Forrest Whitaker in the movie, but Saw Gerrera...
Yeah, I didn't quite care. I mean, I love Forrest... Saw Gerrera sounds like a goddamn professional wrestler. Like
Saw Gerrera?
Eddie Guerrera?
Yeah.
Saw Gerrera. His finisher, the bone saw.
Yeah. I didn't really like how his arc was, set up. But the whole thing with this shit, like, they do with that, they already confirmed that character is going to be an animated shit. And
who, Saw?
Saw Gerrera. He's going to be, like, in the Star Wars Rebels animated series or animated movies or whatever they do with that. So it's like, they obviously, from a fucking, like, merchandising and fucking Disney standpoint, they hold off on that stuff.
Do we know how old, what's-her-face, the main character chick, is supposed to be?
Felicity Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, when she was abandoned, she was like roughly 7 or 8 years old. Okay. And then they say 15 or 16 years afterwards.
Okay. And then we learned that Saw, so Forrest Whitaker's character, left her, like, abandoned her as well when she was 16?
Yes.
So what's the time difference between when he abandoned her and he got crazy?
Okay, so... If I remember correctly in the movie, she was really young when he was with her, and she was pretty much with him for most of her developmental years, and
sexually.
then...
Sexual development.
Women grow.
Sex and space.
There's a good time span when women grow into who they're going to be. Yeah, but no, there's like a good. They spend a good 7 or 6 years together.
Yeah, I didn't fucking like his little tentacloid monster, his hentai monster that like sucked people's brain juices out. Like
I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
He's like, oh, this fucking.
When I was looking at
this fucking squid will tell me whether or not you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
The problem is you're gonna go crazy, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then he sucks on the brain juices of that pilot dude.
Yeah.
And then the pilot dude gets crazy for like a half of a minute, and then he's like back to normal.
That always messed me up too because it's just like. It's just kind of a cop-out because, like, they set up this weird monster that I've never heard of before. Mm-hmm. I actually thought it was supposed to be that thing that they're smuggling in Force Awakens. That big tumbling monster that's going through the hallways because it's got all the tentacles and shit. And they're like, it's really dangerous. And then when they brought that, I'm like, oh, is that the thing we saw? Then we have no idea about?
No, that's something different. That's a different tentacloid. These new Star Wars are very hentai.
They're very hentai. I was about to say that. Are they going to introduce another tentacle monster in 8? And I think why they're doing that is because, remember in episode 7? Mm-hmm. Not 7, 6, Return of the Jedi, they had the Sarlacc pit.
He had
hella tentacles.
Did he really?
He's grabbing that Boba Fett.
Shit.
Yeah. I think there's like a part in the movie when they're having the fight, he goes up and slaps the ship because they're hovering over it to drop him in, and they linger too long, and that's how he falls in.
Damn.
I might be.
That's smart.
That's smart?
You're smart.
I'm smart, or the tentacle monsters?
You! For linking the tentacles.
I guess so.
Did we have any tentacles in the...
What's it? The prequels refrained from a lot of tentacles. They were not into the tentacles. I think the only thing was the Attack of the Clones. There was like some guys who...
Kid Fisto kind of looks like he has tentacles, but he doesn't.
He's got those fucking dreadlocks. I like to compare it to like what they did with Knuckles in the Sonic games. They made his... quills, like fucking dreadlocks.
Sonic... Oh, sorry, not Sonic. Knuckles, by the way, fucking coolest dude ever.
He's fucking stupid.
No, he's not.
If you ever play the Sonic games, he's a fucking idiot, because he always gets tricked.
Does he really? I don't know anything about, like...
I played them a lot as I was a kid, so, every encounter with Knuckles is like, Knuckles, help us. He's like, no, you're stealing things from me. He's like, who told you that? It's like the bad guy we're fighting. It's like, why do you believe that guy?
Was he stealing chili dogs?
No, he was stealing jewelry.
Chili dogs.
Chili dogs.
Gotta go fast. Chili dogs.
I like those Sonic memes. He represents everything I grew up as a kid.
Why is Sonic the one franchise where every weirdo on the internet happens to love?
Because it's the one franchise that attracts weirdos just because it's more of like every kid played Sonic, so there's a large threshold. Kind of like Mario, but Mario's different because it's like a Mickey Mouse thing where it's like you don't get those things of just like is Mario sexual? Does he fuck at home? I mean, there's stuff
He's
now.
Got a mustache.
Sonic was one of the first things where it's like the weirdos started coming out of the fucking dark corners of the internet because it was when they went on the Dreamcast, they made Sonic all gritty and like edgy. Like, not edgy, but he made it more like rock guitar extreme shit.
Oh,
it's like voice acting. He's like
radical.
He's like
radical, yeah.
He's just like he's a radical. You know, he went like full attitude boy, and
nice.
Yeah. So I think it's just like that turnaround. Like people got it. It's kind of like a threshold thing where it's like Sonic got more anime, and it kind of brought in that mindset of like anime shit.
Just the fucking Sonic people at work.
I would fucking absolutely love to tell you what the mindset is when people fucking get all obsessed with Sonic, because I grew up with Sonic. I played Sonic a fuck ton when I was a kid. I loved Sonic Adventure and all that shit. I hate the games now because they're fucking like terrible. Actually, like you grow up and you just start hating it. But there's a point I think when I was like I don't know 10 or 12, and I like started going on the internet shit and look up Sonic shit. And I started discovering this stuff, and I started like freaking out. I'm like, I didn't think anybody liked Sonic growing up as a kid because I was like past the point of like when it was popular on the Genesis and it was just on the Dreamcast. Nobody had the Dreamcast, so it was like I didn't think anybody liked it. Turns out a bunch of people fucking liked it in the wrong way.
Yeah, I was just saying you came across some of that porn, some of that SB Sonic porn.
That was my introduction to porn. I had never seen pornography before, and then I see Sonic fucking a chicken sandwich, and I was just like, my life's changed.
You were like, I'm liking it. Like, I wish I was that chicken sandwich right now, right?
I wish I was that Sonic, and I wish I had that McChicken right on my dick.
Will you be will you be my Sonic to my chicken sandwich? Is this happening right now?
I was trying to figure out the analogy.
I don't know either.
Where's Sonic at?
So, well, I was going to say, Sonic...
I used to have just a sidewind. Actually, I think I have it here. Because I was had a box of sewing shit. No, it's not here. There's a Sonic figure in there, but there was a Sonic figure I had when I was a kid. You could turn around his waist, and then his little tail would be like a little dick. Oh. And I think that's where they got the ideas. A little too creative with their toys.
Things are getting kind of hot in here.
I think that's just from the heater.
I think that's from this.
I keep it on a clean, comfortable 110. I am freezing at all times. I am cold-blooded. I'm a cold-blooded little monster boy.
I'm trying to think games that I played growing up. I definitely played Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic Pinball. Because we had a Genesis.
Excuse me, it's not Sonic Pinball, it's Sonic Spinball.
You can go ahead and fuck yourself sideways.
I got it on the shelf right now. I can fucking prove you wrong. I also got Mortal Kombat, which...
okay,
did that...
How dare you bring up Mortal Kombat?
I was going to bring that up because I know you played as a kid, and I was going to ask you, in the same way that these Sonic fanatics had their sexual awakening through Sonic, did you have your sexual awakening through Mortal Kombat?
No. I can't think of, No, I don't know. No.
Were you not like a confused little, 12-year-old when you, were thinking you like girls and you're like, Melina, she's so hot, but that monster teeth, I don't know if I can work around that.
No, because I don't like chicks. I like dudes, and,
I'm just saying at some point, early on.
No, I can't really think of any Mortal Kombat character from the original games up until, UMK3 and Trilogy. Maybe Kano, but not really.
He's got that Australian accent.
Which I dig, by the way. If you're an Australian, I like what you're talking about.
Yeah. He's like, what's that quote from the movie? He's like, I'll show you my moves, Sonya.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, no, hold on. He's like,
You probably know what I'm talking about.
I'll show you my moves, Sonya. I'll cut you from ear to ear.
I'll show off all my moves to you.
He never says that, ever.
I'll show you all my moves, Sonya Blade.
You want to see my moves, Sonya Blade? Oi, crikey,
I'll stab you in the knees, Sonya Blade.
When he's eating guys, he's chewing on a big piece of turkey at that.
Did they kill him off in the first one, or did he make it back for the second one?
The guy who played him killed himself.
Between two movies?
I don't know if it was between the two movies, but no, Sonya killed him. She snapped his neck with her thighs. He was like,
that was it.
She goes,
because it was the scene where they're proving themselves, and he was like, you mortals are never gonna, kill in this competition, and she's like,
that's
done.
not at all what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
No, she's fighting him.
I've seen this movie plenty of times, man.
She's got him in between her thighs or her knees or her legs, some of her lower regions, and he's like, come on, Sonya, cut me a break. Or give me a break. And she's like, I'll give you a break. And then she snaps his neck. Because she broke his neck.
It's a good joke. No, I was saying in that scene, wasn't the whole thing with Shang Tsung that he was like, they had to prove to him, because it's Mortal Kombat, you have to fatality. And wasn't it before that Johnny Cage is like, I don't want to kill this guy. And then he hesitates. And then, did she get in the fight before Johnny Cage? Or is Johnny Cage fight after that? Because then he's stands up and he goes, finish him. And then he's like,
let me just go ahead and break down what happens.
We were supposed to talk about 2016 movies,
well,
and now
we're
off
on a tangent, which is fine. Expect that from the smart boys.
We're talking about Mortal Kombat from, what, 95?
95. Yeah. I remember seeing it in theaters and being a fucking... Because I love Mortal Kombat. I grew up in Mortal Kombat. But the first fight is between Liu Kang and that unknown... Nobody from the game. He was that black dude with dreads.
Yeah.
And they had the sticks, and the sticks broke, and then Shang Tsung was like, finish him. And then, no, he didn't. No, he never told them to finish him. He just walked over and put his hand over his chest and sucked out his soul, all nice and gooey-like.
I thought he did that because Johnny Cage hesitated, and he was just like, okay, and then just, finished it for him. And
Johnny Cage's first fight is with Scorpion.
Is that where he goes finish him, and then he hesitates?
No, you're thinking... No. You are thinking of when Goro fights Art, the black dude with the shaved head in the karate gi, who is a friend of Johnny Cage. He's not in the games. And Goro is holding him up with, his top arms and then, doing, the karate gesture, the closed fist with, the hand over it. To shake. And then he's like, finish him. And then Goro,
snaps him.
Yeah. And then the other fights are Liu Kang versus Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero #1. If you don't know those two Sub-Zeros, you better fucking know.
I don't know after playing it.
And then, there's two Sub-Zeros. Original Sub-Zero's a fucking asshole. So it's Liu Kang versus Unknown Black Dude. And then the next fight, I think, is Johnny Cage versus Scorpion, or Liu Kang versus Sub-Zero, or Sonya versus Kano. And then there's the Goro versus Art fight, and then there's the Goro versus fucking Johnny Cage fight, which has one of the best lines ever spoken in a movie, which is when Goro takes off his sunglasses and breaks them. He goes, "Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole. Let's dance." Anyway, Mortal Kombat's a shit growing up. Sonic was a shit growing up. I played a lot of Desert Strike. I don't know if you know what that is.
I know what that is. Actually, I think I own that.
You have to shoot up all the little buildings and then pick up the guys in diapers.
Attack Helicopter. What's the band name? I Eat Helicopters?
Oh, Eat a Helicopter.
Eat a Helicopter.
And then I played Wonder Boy a lot.
Wonder Boy? Like the fucking Master System game?
It was on Genesis. It might have been Wonder Boy 2 or what. Played that, a lot of that. And then that's pretty much it. Then I got a PlayStation. I got really into Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy VIII. And Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo was my shit growing up
Gran
as well.
Turismo.
Let's see here. We're going on.
It's a bit of a tangent about video games. We were talking about the sexual awakening that many have had from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, which was an offshoot because we were talking about Star Wars and Kid Fisting, whatever his name is.
I brought up Tentacles. We were discussing Tentacles, and then you
Tentacles
mentioned
is a
that
big part of
Knuckles
Star Wars.
has tentacle heads.
See, that's the thing. Tentacles never been a thing about Sonic, but don't tell the internet that because they love it.
Well, let's do a quick 2016 in review. Everyone's bitching, saying fuck 2016. It's just time. It don't matter.
Okay, I'm normally I sarcastically act negative, but a lot of times I am kind of negative. Like a lot of people say I'm fucking negative about movies and shit like that, which I can be, and half of it's intentional, half of it's just to be fucking around.
Mm-hmm.
All the shit I saw online coming out of 2016 of how many people were being fucking negative, I cannot believe. The year wasn't that bad. I will say there's been worse years.
Yeah.
There's been better years, but also the shit that happens not really relevant to the year. People are freaking out about dead celebrities because all the celebrities you grew up with were fucking 45, 50 years old, by the time you were born, and they're now dying, and you're getting all surprised.
What people don't seem to understand is that in the past, we did not have nearly as many celebrities as we do now. Before the age of television and records and radio and all that shit, there weren't that many celebrities. You had basically your big movie stars, and that was it. Now with radio, internet, television, all that shit, we have so many more celebrities, and because in the 60s and 70s and late 50s, everybody was now getting access to so much more media, we then had so many more celebrities. So of course, now that those celebrities who were in their 20s or 30s in the 50s or 60s and 70s, of course now that it's 40, 50 years later,
yeah,
they're gonna start dying off. It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
The only celebrity deaths that really get to me are the ones of people who are young.
What's the guy from the Star Trek movies?
Anton Yelchin. That one was tough.
That one was out of nowhere, and it was because a fucking weird reason he got he got run over
by his own car. And then the other one was Jose Fernandez. I don't know if you guys are baseball fans. He was an amazing pitcher out of Miami, and he died in a boat accident.
I heard about that.
But Zsa Zsa Gabor, bitch was 90-something years old.
Yeah. Gene Wilder, he was pretty old.
Yeah, wasn't he also pretty sick?
He was. I was hearing shit about him and his bad health 8 or 9 years ago on Entertainment Tonight, and I'm honestly surprised he's dead now. Because I expected him, when they're all talking about his health of that year, I expected him to go the next year. He lasted longer than I expected.
Yeah.
And I can't be really sad about it, because his career was in its prime back in the late 70s, and he hasn't been working since, I would say, the mid to late 80s.
The only other ones that are kind of upsetting, just because of their age, Carrie Fisher, obviously, but she also drank and did so many drugs.
She did a lot of coke.
That...
She fucking partied with John Belushi back in the day.
Her, George Michael, who, I don't really like his music, but I'm
not a big fan, and that was just kind of out of nowhere. I hadn't heard about that in a while.
And then Prince.
Prince, yeah. Prince is a big one. For me, the biggest one of the year, and just because out of all the people who died, I'd favor the most, was David Bowie. He was early on the year, and to me it was more surprising because he just had an album come out, and, like a week later he died.
Yeah.
So it's like, good send-off, but at the same time, you don't want that to happen. But the thing I also feel the issue is with these big deaths is fucking social media. Because it was never, like, back in the day when you hear about celebrity death, you fucking watch the news, or you fucking watch Entertainment Tonight, or some dumb fucking Hollywood show that's on in the evening, and you're just like, oh, by the way, today, this actor died.
Yeah.
And that was it. And now it's like, it immediately breaks on, like, Reddit and fucking every news site. And then everybody goes on their Facebook and their Instagram, they gotta post something, and it's like, he was the best actor, and I love his
I've been
movies.
a fan of his ever since. It's like, bitch,
Literally crying right now. I grew up with, okay, good example of, like, celebrity dying being really tragic. Robin Williams. He took his own life. Very sad. And he was still working. He actually, some of his best movies had came out, I'd say, in the past 5 years. Like World's Greatest Dads, I would rank as one of his top 5 movies, just how great of a black comedy it is, and how interesting a movie it is. And he was starting to do a lot of, what I would say, like, Bill Murray projects, where later in his career he starts going for the more contemporary or indie, like, black comedy stuff. And that was really interesting. And I guess it came from an actual place, and he killed himself.
Well, to be honest, nothing against the man, but I am not a Robin Williams fan at all. But it is sad.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at this list of people who have passed, and there's some of them I totally forgot, and I'm...
Which ones did you totally forget? I remember...
and this is shitty of me, but Alan Rickman. Totally forgot Alan... Just as of now, when we were speaking.
We brought it up.
Alan Rickman?
We brought it up when we were joking about the celebrity deaths. You brought up Alan Rickman.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
Harry Potter boy.
Also Florence Henderson.
Florence Henderson, yeah.
Gary Shandling. Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
Fidel Castro.
Now that's a big one. Not in terms
I
of
thought
like
he was dead. To be honest.
I thought he was dead too. But that's
another
another Mandela thing where people thought he was dead when he was in.
The other ones I'm looking at, like I recognize, fucking Nancy Reagan, but whatevs. Doris Roberts.
Doris Roberts, yes. Peter Boyle died back in 2006. That was kind of sad at the time.
And then Alan Thicke.
Alan Thicke. Yeah.
Alan Thicke. John Glenn.
But that's the thing. A lot of these, when we're bringing them up, have had inactive or retired careers. Like Carrie Fisher, she's still in Star Wars. That's why it was a big deal to everybody, because if she was not in The Force Awakens or anything like that, and they just wrote off her character, it would just be more of like, that's sad that she is like dead now, and people would be like, I remember her as Princess Leia, and I remember her.
Yeah.
One thing that really actually upset me of this whole thing, when people were bringing up the things she was in, and the books she's written, and the people she's been around and connected to, no one ever fucking brought up her best role, which was in The Blues Brothers. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've seen it once. I'm not a big fan of...
you don't like...
80s movies.
No, I thought you were going to say either the actors, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi,
I love
the
Dan
director.
Aykroyd.
What's his fucking name? I fucking love his shit. John Landis. He's one of the best directors of the early to mid-'80s.
Did he do Spies Like Us? Because I love Spies Like Us.
Yes, he did. He did that. He did Coming to America. He did Trading Places. He did American Werewolf in London. He did the Thriller music video. He's got a fucking... He's like John Carpenter. He's got a fucking storied career. I think he's still alive. I know his son is active now, Max Landis. Look if he's dead or not.
I'm gonna look him up.
Because I'll be sad when he dies. If he's dead, sorry, I'm sad.
Here's the news, and I'm not gonna lie about it. He's alive. He's age 66.
Hey, as they say on the internet, survived 2016.
Do you want to?
We were talking about movies.
Movies, yes.
Hey, let's not worry about the time, because I'm okay if this runs a little
okay.
long. Honestly, nothing was broken in flow. Very little editing on the part right now. Movies. So, I know I was going to bring up maybe music video games, but you don't play a lot of like current games right now, do you?
No. The only video games that I Well, my PS4 is broken,
Yeah.
so I can't play that. But I have Forza Horizon 3, which I have not gotten into.
I would say one of my top 5s of the year.
Forza Horizon 3?
It was a lot of fun. I'm not into racing games, and I'm not into the Forza series either. I only got it because it came free with my Xbox One, and it's a fucking great game. It reminds me of racing games on the Xbox. But there was some other stuff that came out last year that I was really excited about. I'd say one of my number ones would be Doom, the Doom remake.
Okay.
Really good.
Okay.
I've been
Nice
recommending-
soundtrack.
Oh god, the soundtrack is really good. Like, I expected them to just go traditional, like, fucking heavy metal, like, 90s style, and they surprised me, and I'm really happy about what they did to the soundtrack, because it's really energetic.
What else came out?
Let's not worry too much about video games. We can
Let's not worry.
We can talk about that later.
TV shows. By the way, greatest TV show of all time, or at least one of them, Season 12 premieres tomorrow, January 4th. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I would say that's one of my top 5. Is that considered a sitcom? I feel that's considered a sitcom.
Yes, it is the longest-running non-animated sitcom of all time.
Is it really?
Not in terms of episodes or total run times, but just seasons.
Seasons.
Because they are contracted to at least 14 seasons, and once they hit that 14, they'll be the longest-running longest-running non-animated sitcom of all time.
Awesome.
Fantastic, right?
That's fantastic. That's a perfect choice. That's the thing that I like about the show the most is it's such a well-written, well-delivered in terms of comedy, it's such a big setup payoff kind of show.
Oh, definitely.
And it keeps it really consistent. I would say the only season I kind of was like, on was I think season 9 or 10. One of the it kind of felt like they were doing the same thing over and over.
That was the last season.
Was it? No, I liked the last season. The last season was kind of on the notes of we're trying to do it and making fun of the fact that we're doing it again. The season 10, the season before that, was the one where I felt was just kind of playing on the same notes of stuff before, but not openly acknowledging it.
Yes.
So,
well, I didn't particularly enjoy the last season as much, just because I felt like they were kind of pandering and making nods. Because they had two... Charlie McDennis 2, Electric Boogaloo, obviously is a play on the original Charlie McDennis, which is fine, but it's like a throwback. Like, hey, remember when we did Charlie McDennis? You all loved that. Here's another one. And then when they did, what the fuck was it called? Frank Falls Out a Window, where Frank thinks it's 2006 again. They just redid all the same jokes from that first, few seasons. And then there was, there was another episode which was just nothing but a throwback. It was like, I get it, like, I'm a fan, I understand all these references, but I'd rather have new stuff than, hey, remember when we did this?
Was the last season the one with the Aspen trip, the ski slope?
Yeah, I love that
that's
episode.
one of my favorite episodes, probably of the recent seasons.
Yeah. That and when Mac and Dennis moved to the suburbs, that's a great episode.
That's a really good episode. But I would say what I like about that show the most and how I can relate it to other sitcoms I like, because I'd say my other top 3 besides that show would be Curb Your Enthusiasm,
yes,
Seinfeld, and Arrested Development. All 3 of those shows are funny because they perfect the setup payoff writing style that is probably, I would say, the best in any sitcom. And out of those 4, those have the best examples of setup payoff. And also, they're not shows that try to make you care about the characters.
Yes.
They're shows that are reckless with their characters, and the characters are meant to be either hateable or even dislikable just because they're meant to be terrible people, and that was what worked for the show. And anytime I ask people what their favorite comedy is, they give me examples like fucking How I Met Your Mother and shit like that.
Which is it's a fine show, but it's just not real.
It's an okay show, but it's not terribly funny. At least in my it has some in jokes, and I feel like they're just too much because there's never the payoff. It's always it was set up, and then they just kind of continue that shit. It's like Friends. I'm just we got this in joke, and we're gonna keep writing this every once in a while. On
sitcoms How I Met Your Mother, Friends, the big ones. They expect us to go, "Aw," when something bad happens to one of the main characters.
Yes.
Sunny, Curb, and Arrested Development, when something bad happens to one of our main characters, we go, well, They fucking deserved it. Like,
it's something
funny.
you laugh at. That's the point where the payoff comes into play,
Yeah.
and that's where you like really get the laughs in. Because I don't want to dissect comedy like this because like it's meant to be enjoyed at a casual level. But in terms of like my favorite comedies, like that is what I look for.
Oh, yeah.
There are other ones I like Louis, which are more like those are more of a thought provoking piece.
Because
I wouldn't say they're terribly funny. I sit there half the time, and more of it is like there's something that really gets me. But it's not every episode. And I enjoy it more of a just kind of in a drama sense as well, on top of the surreal comedy that they add. And that's what we had to say about that. Other TV shows this year, we already talked about Westworld, Stranger Things. I know your feelings on Westworld, and we already kind of expressed what you're saying. I'm on the same page with you. I really like Westworld. I think it's really ambitious. I'm glad it's given us the less is more thing, where they said the next season is 2 years. Because I don't want a season every year. I want it every once in a while, especially with HBO series. I know I'm going to get the quality if they take their time.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is one where it's like, people were immediately like, where's the second season? And right after the show, I was on the same boat. Now that I let it simmer and like everybody is like going nuts over it, I'm not too jazzed on the show anymore. I went back and watched it, and there were things that I was just like, this is kind of like,
Yeah, the kid actors were great. The story, though, I feel has kind of been there, done that.
It's too much of remember X-Files, remember Twin Peaks, remember all these things that were cool from the 80s and from the 90s, and these nuances that we pulled, and it's cool in that way, but it tries too hard to be like that. What's next? What's the answer to this question? Why do they have this facility and all this? And
I'm just trying to think what else. Luke Cage, which was disappointing. It wasn't bad. The first half was so much better than the second half.
I don't know a lot about the Marvel shows. I haven't watched, I would say, any of them.
Did you watch Daredevil?
I did not.
Fucking dude, get on that Daredevil.
A lot of people say get on it, and that's the one I consider. I wanted to watch Jessica Jones because it felt a little more self-contained. I like theatrics in it, and I like the story concept a little more. Because Daredevil I liked when I was a kid, but now it's kind of like okay.
I mean, there's always, that Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones I have not been caught up on, but I have been rewatching and catching up here and there recently. And, Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. You get what you expect. It's a great series.
Is there any big movies coming other than... Did they push back Star Wars 8?
No, it's still slated Christmas? For its next December release. I know Fate of the Eight, which a lot of people have been talking about. That's coming out. A lot of people are always talking about the Fast and Furious series because it's kind of this...
I love the Fast and Furious series.
I love it for how schlocky, fucking self-aware it seems at times. But this last one and this one coming up, I don't know what to think of it.
This new one, as a huge Fast and Furious fan, from the beginning when it was simply street racing and pulling little heists, to the most recent ones where they're birthing a tank out of a fucking shit and they're taking down Russian fucking airplanes on the 1,000-mile long runway. They know what they are, they know what people like, and they know what people want to see. This new one, though, in my opinion, looks fucking horrible. It looks... I don't get it. I don't understand why this street racer, Dominic Toretto from, California, from Los Angeles, is somehow the best soldier that the government can fucking acquire to do these jobs or whatever the fuck's going on, and, why Ludacris's character, this fucking dude who used to run street races in, Miami... is the best computer hacker that we've got, and what the fuck is Tyrese there for? Because he's not good at particularly anything, but somehow we need that fucker on this team. Same thing with Michelle Rodriguez. I love her in the first movie because she was just a tough chick who didn't put up with shit, and now supposedly she's a badass fighter and all this other shit. So it's.
I'm going to be completely honest. When I saw, was it Fast 6? Is that what it was called? Or Fast and Furious 6, whatever they call it.
It was
Fast 5.
And then it was the Fast and the Furious.
The Fast and the Furious was the fourth one. Or Fast and Furious. Whatever the
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Anyway, her in the sixth movie. I think I saw that... It was a year after Machete Kills came out.
Mm-hmm.
her character in that and this movie, I could not separate. Like, I just saw the same character, and I feel like she's just playing on the same notes. And I get that. But at the same time, in Machete Kills, it's in a wink, wink, nudge, 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 like
it's a Robert Rodriguez joint.
Because it's a Robert Rodriguez joint. But in the movie, it just felt like when she was like brainwashed and shit like that, it's like, what? It's like, this is just the same character, except they took the
I don't know, dude. This new Fast and Furious movie, like I love Charlize Theron and all that shit, and The Rock is based off of me, so I'm in that movie technically.
Okay.
But 2017, it's gonna be one could say it's gonna be a doozy, like a doozy of a year.
Somebody list off all the movies that were coming off, and it was just like a lot of sequels and stuff like that. Nothing that really stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
At the most, I could say I'm not like super hyped about like the comic book movies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly will say of last year, Civil War to me was like, it's like okay. I'll watch it every once in a while. Did not like Doctor Strange at all. That's a personal opinion. I'll keep it right here.
That's fine. We
can talk about it later. We can discuss it later. But I'm excited. I like the Guardian of the Galaxies. I love James Gunn as a director. I love most of his movies. This one looks a little too more not his work. It looks a lot more cleaned up and like really over the top CG. But I like them. I like the first one. It worked for me, and I will see this one. And I am excited about Spider-Man: Homecoming because Spider-Man is like the one superhero besides Batman I liked growing up, and the one that always has a soft spot. Even after how much I fucking hated both the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
I didn't see them.
They were
I didn't even bother.
This is... Some people say this is a controversial opinion, and I feel those people are absolutely wrong, because I feel those movies are the biggest piece of shits made recently in terms of superhero movies, regardless of your Suicide Squads and your Batman vs. Supermans and your Man of Steels. I feel Andrew Garfield... terrible actor, not good.
Mm-mm.
I do not like him.
Mm-mm.
People will defend the shit out of him as that role of Spider-Man. I'm like, oh, he's a decent Peter Parker. I'm like, no, he really isn't because he's a shitty actor. People shit on Tobey Maguire. I'm like, well, at least Tobey Maguire is like a good actor outside of it. Oh, a decent actor. I won't say he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He hasn't been really active recently.
I will.
Yeah, superhero movies.
The one movie that I forgot to mention, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't, that I'm super fucking psyched for, is fucking John Wick 2.
Yes.
John Wick Chapter 2, motherfuckers. It's coming. It's coming. We got Neo. We got fucking Morpheus in it. And I don't know if you all know, but the Matrix is my shit. Matrix is my shit. To see Neo and Morpheus team up together again, literally, I could not contain how excited I am. I am throbbing with excitement.
I forgot about that too. I haven't rewatched John Wick in a while. Yeah, I need to see it again.
Alright.
But, I think that's it. I did want to cover 2016 releases in terms of movies, because there's a lot I want to talk about. But I feel we kind of ran the time out on this one.
We don't want to keep you guys long. We want to make these things
short,
convenient. We don't want you sitting there for 3.5 hours or a day and a half.
Yeah. We could take your whole day, and I'm sure you would love it. But we're a little considerate.
It'll take more than your day, babe.
Yeah. I'm getting a little background noise right now from the neighbors upstairs. Let's just call them that.
Mm-hmm.
Not appreciating it. But we'll keep going.
Yeah.
We'll kind of wrap this up a little bit.
Share us with your friends.
Share us.
Comment below.
We would love some feedback.
Let us know what you want to hear.
For a second episode, I feel like we got a better format than last time.
Yes.
Last time we were kind of just like kicking our feet around. I'm like, oh, what do we do next? I think we got it down pretty good. But hey, that's what commenting is for. We don't disable our comments. We're not a fucking
hell no.
CNN.
Tell me to suck it, faggot, or whatever you want me to. Just write whatever you want. Except
put that big faggot word. I want to see it in those fonts that you spell aesthetic in. I want to see it. I want to see it
Comic
left
Sans.
to right. I want to see it up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it both directions. I love that shit posting. I want it.
Shitpost. And let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about, because we're always down to talk about random shit.
We're not only let us know, email us at smrtboys with a Z podcast at gmail.com, or contact us on Facebook, the Smart Boys.
Smart Boys.
You just look us up. You just hit that search bar, the Smart Boys podcast. If you're friends with us on Facebook, which you may or may not be, and if you aren't, you probably want to be.
Mm-hmm. I'm real good. real good.
We got some quality postings outside of our page, but inside our page, we got those links to our newest episodes. We also got some every once in a while. We'll post a little update and just a little joke, maybe just a little nudge, maybe a picture or two.
We'll share what we like.
Yeah, we'll get you excited about the next episode. You'll see that logo and you'll be like, "Ooh, when's the next episode? When can I listen to that?"
Rub your fingers together and think about that.
We also got an Instagram. Not super important. We'll post a picture every once in a while, but hey, it's there. And also on Twitter, where we give you the dopest updates on our show.
Our updates, literally and almost physically, figuratively, metaphysically, are the
I'm going
dopest.
to give this 100% guarantee that our updates may or may not make you orgasm right there and then.
Everyone's doing it.
I have actually, Twitter's censoring mine. They're putting me on the adult filter because every time I post something, and I'm using PC terms, but even the writing style, those commas, those Oxford commas.
The human ejaculate is everywhere.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of emails about jerked off on phones
and lady ejaculate.
Cummy phones. They call them. Yeah. So
female throbs, big veiny throbs.
I know.
Anyway,
they call it the C word.
They do. They do.
In two ways, actually.
Shut up.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
You know our links. You know who we are. You'll be back.
We're the smart boys, and you guys are smart for listening.
You're smarter than us, because we had to record this, and you just had to listen. All right.
Peace out.
Peace out.